You know what, everybody? We are here. We are here. We are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to 3 Plus 1, the live cast. This is the 25th live cast that we have done. Now, in terms of podcast, if we were still a podcast, Tracy, I think that this would be like episode 80 something.
Yeah, close to 100.
Yeah, we've been booking it. We've been working. We've been putting in the work on a Thursday night, and we're going to continue to put in that work on a Thursday night as we welcome the author of the book, Fuckboy Fable,
Hey!
Brandi Yolanda. Brandi Yolanda, welcome, Brandi,
Thank you
to
for having me, guys. Hello, everybody.
One Crew. This book is hilarious. But the question is it meant to be hilarious? I want you to tell us what gave you the inspiration for F-Boy Fables and how it came to be.
No. It's Fuckboy Fable.
I was about to say, can I say it or not?
No, you can certainly say it.
Great.
Let's get it right.
So the funny thing is,
I'll say fuckboy and I'll put my fuckboy air quotes. Because it is a real concept. This is a real concept and a real term that has entered mainstream African American vernacular. We need to be able to say it and speak truth
and speak
to the
truth.
term. Tell us about it.
Yes, so it's funny you say that it's hilarious. In years, it was published in 2017. In recent years, I found it funny, but at the time, I did not find those stories very funny. They were, very toxic situations, and they were very scarring. So originally, it was just like me pouring my heart out, and it came from, like all great stories and great music comes from a heartbreak. So it came from a heartbreak and breaking up with someone and having a horrible experience. And I just was like, there's no way I'm the only woman that's dealing with this. There's just no way. And literally on the drive home, it came to me. And I've had so many people say, well, fuck boy, why did you name your title that? It's so, controversial. And, guys always feel offended. Like, you're talking to me. And I'm just like, the shoe fits wear, but it's me taking my power back. And instead of being, I'm sad and sorry, and I can't believe these things happened to me. Woe is me. It's like, oh no, they were fuck boys. I learned a lesson, and I'm moving on from it.
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I was wait. I'm hearing feedback. I'm sorry.
Still there?
Yeah. Oh, I had something good to say too.
Say it. We want you to say it. We'll work through the technical challenges.
Well, I was.
So, Brandi, okay. Listen, what you could do, like, take the sound out and bring the sound back. Here's the thing. Am I feedback too? Oh, it may be just a stream. Here's the thing, Brandi. Could it be that because I'm a man, I thought it was funny? But as a female, our females wouldn't think it was funny. I just texted. I bought a copy of the book as also a Christmas gift to our friend and super fan, Candy. So Candy said she literally cried. And we talked about that during spin class where she had a different reaction. So I just texted her and said, maybe she can join us for a moment in the live cast to give us her female perspective as a reader. But, have you had that experience from other women?
Yeah, a lot of women can't really relate to the stories. They come up to me and tell me a few of their stories, and it's not funny at the time. And maybe it's because you're a man. Maybe it's because I think a lot of men can't believe that type of fuckery is going on. I think that's what it is. They cannot believe that someone is doing something like this because they themselves wouldn't do it. And I go, just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean it hasn't been done or people haven't fallen victim to it. So I think that's why for you, it's hilarious. And then for me, it's kind of like, it's cringy. Like, nah, not funny.
I don't have the book. But I created a nonprofit called Date Yourself Girl from that kind of experience. Can you give us just a snippet of what toxicity you came across in your dating experience?
So it's a lot of narcissists. It's a lot of manipulation, using a woman's needs, her, a lot of Yana Van Zant said how things are spilling over. So things are wrong with you, you're spilling out and spilling over and using those things against you. So one example is I may say, in the past it's like, oh, I want to be someone's wife, I want to be a girl with someone's girlfriend, and the guy would use those things to, oh, well, wives do this, girlfriends do this. You want to be wife, you have to do this. So it's almost a form of manipulation. Just emotionally unavailable people, assholes, just people who are very high on themselves, and people who take the time. There's a term for it now where, you have a successful woman and someone wants to knock her down a few pegs because to feel their own ego. So just egotistical people.
I've been watching this show called Married at First Sight. Have you been watching it, Brandi? And there is a relationship on there that really is being spotlighted for fuckboy tendencies. And that's Chris and Paige. And he's narcissistic, he's egomaniacal, like he's all of these things. And I'm just like, had I been younger, I think this would have been me. I would have been a Paige. I would have allowed this situation to continue long term. Now I see it and you get 2-3 weeks with me, okay, and then it's done. So what do you suggest to single women who are out here dating, looking for forever love? What are some tips that you would give?
So I first want to say I actually do have a definition of fuckboy in the book. To go with what you said in the beginning. So fuckboy, individual whose presence and reckless self-centered behavior damages, annoys, angers, ruins, or compromises another individual. So that's what I say fuckboy is. And a way I've realized to avoid fuckboys is, one, you have to really get in touch with
synonyms. Asshole,
yeah,
mama's boy, trash.
Ding ding period, as they would say. But one of the main things to avoid that is, one, you have to really look at the red flags. You have to figure out what your red flags are, because what your red flags are at your point in your life may be different from mine. And so I have to figure out what my red flags are, opposite, away from my friends, away from what my family, my homegirls would say. The second thing, I need to hone in on to my needs. And so that if I am feeling lonely, I'm not just looking for companionship everywhere. Or if I am feeling less confident, I'm just not, oh, he gave me a compliment and said I'm pretty. I'm not just, taking all those in. So that's the first. The second thing is to get control of your needs. I think the last thing is to really get into yourself. Like you said, dating yourself, really get confidence in who you are and what you know you deserve. I've gotten to the point now where I've learned that if I can do certain things for myself, then why would I accept less from someone else? So it's just, I keep telling people, more so to remind myself and them, if I can do these things for myself, if I expect these things of myself, if I hold myself to a high standard, like in high school, I'm at all A's, why am I accepting someone that gives me C's? So that's just that.
You better preach.
and Candy, at female perspective, hey Candy, super fan and great fan. Welcome.
Hi.
Brandi, when is your birthday?
May 25th.
Brandi, you are a Gemini, and I love a Gemini very much in my personal private life. But you are my love amongst the water signs. Cancer is at the top. Pisces is right here, and then you have me, the Scorpio. So my love, brace yourself for some water tonight. Some water night. So, of course, with us being water signs, we know this definitely resonated with us, and probably will give each one of us different opinions. Candace, I want you to talk to us about, is there a story, one of these vignettes that you feel really spoke to you, or what about the book spoke to you to let Brandi know what resonated?
It was so many of them. I wish I could pull the book, but I would have to search my bookshelf for it. So I'm sorry. But I did read it.
I highlighted my favorite ones from the fuck boy and his secret family. And then there was one here, the fuck boy versus the marriage counselor.
And I think it was one in there about a fake purse. Like a guy got she thought it was like a high-end designer purse, and she tried to go and take it back after a breakup or something, and found out it was inauthentic. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. All those stories really, when I got at the end of the book, I felt like my heart was just broken. I was like, oh my gosh, and of course we've all gone through situations like this before, but it's like you don't really remember it, because I'm 33 and it's been a while since I've like actually been through a situation like that. I hope I don't have to go through it anytime soon, but it might end up happening. You never know. But when I was younger, I went through a couple of things like that, and it was hurtful at that time. So man, I mean, it had kind of just brought all that back up, and it just made me remember it. And I was like, dang, I remember going through all of this kind of stuff, because I had forgotten all about that stuff. I mean, literally, I forgot all about it.
Y'all are young. You're in the 30s.
Well, and the thing is even at 30, 33, I know people are 40 and 45, and it's not to say that you outgrow the fuckboyism. You don't outgrow the fuckboy. You don't outgrow it.
No.
And even if you say, like you said, you get 3 weeks and then I count you out, that doesn't mean they didn't do fuckboy shit. They still did it. You just may not have, just may not have stayed as long as maybe some of the people in the book did. I think there's levels to fuckboy. I feel like there's fuck boys who are extreme narcissists, and then you have fuck boys who they just do one little thing that irritated you. So I feel like there's levels to the game, but I don't feel like you ever outgrow the bullshit. I feel like you just get to a point where you may recognize it quicker, you recognize those red flags, and your tolerance is a little lower for the BS.
Yeah, that's where I am. You guys, I'm gonna tell you like my grandmother always tells me, keep living. Okay, you will continue to experience, unless you get married and you meet your person, right? Who is void of those fuckboy-isms.
Nah, they definitely can still be fuckboys and be married. You know what I mean?
Can, but what I'm saying is, I'm hoping that by the time we've done the work on ourselves, like Iyanla has taught us, we do the work, we will recognize those men and not consider them for long-term relationships. But yeah, it doesn't get better as they get seasoned. I must say it gets worse up here.
No, it does not. It does not. And they typically make more money then, so they have a little bit more, confidence when doing this stuff, because they have that carrot they can now dangle. Don't let you be in a messed up position financially, and they'll be, what I mean, over you. They can dangle that carrot, and basically let you know that it's nothing you can do. Shout it. I got the money.
This is a question that I'm going to ask all the women, because now I have no doubt in my mind that we have to have a Black woman's panel during Women's History Month. These are real issues, and as a male, I didn't see them as the issues that they were. So this is what I want you to think. I want you to tell me this, ladies. Why do fuck boys exist? Now, I want each of you to think about that question while I read an excerpt from the book. Now, this book is, we have author Brandi Yolanda, for those who are joining us, and it's called Fuckboy Fables, and a collection of short stories as retold. So these are real experiences, correct, Brandi? This is real shit. This is real shit that has happened in the world. Like, women have lived through this in their lives. And this is the one called The Fuckboy and His Secret Family. Are you guys ready for a one and only Dr. Kirk story time? It is indeed, DeAndre, Read Across America Week. And while you are reading books by young Black authors, or maybe you are reading books by racist ass Dr. Seuss, I was reading Fuckboy Fables. The Fuckboy and His Secret Family. Amber met a guy through social media, a guy she had been unknowingly following for years. He messaged her, asked a few questions, and said, "I'm looking for a wife." Devontae was straightforward and dark-skinned with a cute smile. Just her type. No colorism there, people. Despite living in separate states, the two managed to get to know each other quite well. After a few times, face-to-face visits, they were later a couple. Devontae was the sweetest guy Amber had dated in a while. She considered him a surprising breath of fresh air. He made her feel special while showering her with affection and gifts, and he was very sensitive. 3 months after they met, Devontae had flowers delivered to Amber's job. She was so surprised and caught off guard that she cried. All her co-workers were just as smitten with him as she was. Devontae had been asking Amber for weeks to post pictures of them together and to tag him in stuff on her social media. But Amber had refused. She didn't want to be that girl that had a new man every 5 seconds. But you know what? She thought to herself, this may be the perfect time. A few likes, comments, and hours later, Amber noticed a comment by an unfamiliar female non-follower. It read, "He really is a nice guy." Amber clicked on the profile only to be directed to a page with Devontae holding the mystery woman's pregnant hand. Maternity pictures, baby shower photos, and pictures of a baby girl were everywhere. Amber's heart dropped. She immediately called Devontae to demand an explanation. Devontae didn't have anything to say. He was very disappointed in Amber snooping. Fuckboy Fables. The Fuckboy and His Secret Family.
You gotta read look on the back, and there's a moral to each story. So what's the moral?
There is a moral, just like a real fable, right? Just like Aesop. So, Brandi here is a real hardcore educator, so she knows the game. So this ain't no fable. That's not a fable, right? You got the fox and the fox and the grapes?
Yeah, like the tortoise and the hare and those types of things.
That fox. I just know that the fox really wanted those grapes. And because I could relate to that because I too like grapes. So let me give you guys the moral of the story. Are you ready? Before entering a relationship, post a picture of your boo on social media, and if no one claims him in 30 days, proceed. ... with caution.
I like that tip, Brandi. Look, you must have known me or someone told you my life because that happened to me in 2009, 2010. I was flying back and forth to Dallas to be with my boyfriend every 2 weeks. And after about a year, maybe 8 or 9 months, I get an email from a long lost friend. And she's like, "Hey, give me a call." And I'm like, "Hey girl, oh my God, I haven't heard from you in so long." She was like, "Let's save the niceties for later. Call me." So baby, when I called her, she asked me about the guy. "What do you know about him?" She was like, "Well, I'm here with him now." I was like, "Oh, you are?" She was like, "Yeah, I knew something was up when I went through his computer and I saw pictures of you and him out and going out or whatever." And she was like, "I asked about you." And he was like, "Oh, y'all broke up 6 months ago." And I was like, "No, I was just there a week ago." And yes, baby. I mean, he had a whole
That's what I'm talking. That's that's the thing. These stories, they are real stories. The names have been changed. They may have been altered a little bit. But how instantly you were able to connect, even if it was from the past, you were able to connect. And one of the things that does for the women who bought my book is that we automatically, instead of judging each other, instead of saying, "You dumb, I can't believe you went through that. I would never allow someone to do that." You automatically go, "Dang, sis, okay, let's figure out how we can come together and what advice you can give me, what I can share with you, so that we can move past the BS." But instead, we're so shunned to share our experiences because we're afraid of the ridicule that we're going to get. And that's the thing, the judgment that we will receive.
Not me. After that experience and after I turned 33 was when I felt more comfortable sharing my experiences with other people without feeling shame. I think at a certain point in your life, you start to recognize these are lessons that I can pass down to other people, because I didn't have conversations about dating and relationships with my mother. I learned from my friends who were also in toxic relationships. So, I'm like, look, whatever.
Everyone was learning together as everyone was trying to grow and figure things out. So the blind leading the blind and trying to figure out who's going to get to the top first.
So, but tell me,
with it.
Candy. No, I'm sorry, Candy.
No,
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say where I am with it. Like, I feel like I am. If I were to, I don't mind sharing my experiences, but I can offer solutions to it. But I feel like the patriarchal racist system that we live in is so deeply ingrained within our society and within the male psyche when it comes to patriarchal things, to where it's normal to cheat on women. You're considered a simp if you treat a woman nice, if you treat her right, and your boys know about it. You know what I mean? They're gonna say, oh, he's simping for that girl. She then got him strung out on that thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's more acceptable, socially acceptable for men to smash women down and humble them. Look at what they call it. I smashed her. I mean, it's normal for men to do women wrong. So I am at the place where I'm not even attempting to right the wrongs. I'm more in a place where I'm trying to be more educate them a little bit more. If I come across a man who want to listen, I can give it to him like that. Like, let me tell you, I'm not saying don't do this to me, just not to do it to me. I'm gonna tell you where this came from.
Yeah, I think you
racist system. You know what I mean?
You're surprised to find that more men probably have purchased my book than women. I sold the book at bars and restaurants, at clubs, and they purchase it because they see the title and they automatically wonder, is that me? And I had a guy had an epiphany at a bar in Atlanta in front of me, and I read him a story, and he was like, I did that to someone. Oh, I didn't understand how she felt. So
it's normal to them. It's normal.
It's normal to them, or it's sometimes breaking it down and seeing the other side. A lot of times when you're in a situation, you don't get a chance to explain yourself. No one's thinking rationally. No one wants to hear the other person's side of the story. Everyone just wants to be right. And when you take a step back, you're able to take a step back and get it from another point of view, another woman. So we all listen to other people sometimes better than the people closest to us. And I think he was able to go, oh wow, okay, I got it. And a lot of men, again, like I said, can't believe that's going on. A lot of men realizing that, oh, I don't want to be in a book like this. I don't want to be called out like this. You'll also be interested to know that I have a lot of stories in this book. I'm not going to tell you which ones are mine. Almost all of them, except one guy, has come forth and apologized.
Of course. And I don't believe that they don't know that this guy's out there like
they know
this.
They're in the book. They can pretty much tell which story is theirs. And all the guys that I've dated, except one, has come forth and wanted to explain himself. And we pretty much had a come to Jesus moment and we, move forward. They wanted to clear they kind of almost wanted to clear their name.
Now, is it Devontae?
Devontae and Amber, they did not reconcile.
You apologized to her.
No.
No. I knew it.
But where I am with it, I am, as long as we live in a society that is racist, this white supremacy structure, we're going to have that patriarchy that comes right up under that, because that supports that whole racist system. Because, if the man is above the woman, he can always humble her. And then if the white man is above everybody, he can humble everybody up underneath him. So, I'm to the point now where I'm choosing kind of not to get married, you know what I mean? Because of this system that we live in and the values that have been taught to our men, along with the women and what we're also conditioned to accept. We shun each other when we're dealing in a system like this. You see a female come into a a gym and she got a sports bra on with some shorts. A lot of women gonna say, why was she dressed like that? That's so inappropriate. These guys are looking at her. Okay, sis, what made you think that anything like this was wrong? This is that patriarchal system where you want to compete for these guys when they're not even gonna do you right anyway. He got a girlfriend. What you plan on doing with him? You just gonna hope he love you? No, ma'am.
And we're gonna look at DeAndre's question, but I want, and DeAndre is coming. This is the next question that we're gonna ask. I want you guys to tell me, why do you think? And Candy really kind of hit the nail or gave a great intro to the conversation as to why fuckboys exist. What have we done as a Black community to foster and create this? And what can we do to undo this? What can we do so that your daughters don't have to deal with as many fuckboys as options? And then we'll look at DeAndre's question about, do we think that Devontae was just using this to get out of the relationship with the baby mama and it just didn't go the way that he wanted it to go?
DeAndre.
Well, not yet. We ain't hitting DeAndre just yet. We're going to get to DeAndre.
I think from my experiences, and I think I've had this, I used to have something called the fuckboy cleanse, and we would come together and have these conversations. And I think fuckboys, it's almost like it's like who came first, the chicken or the egg? Who knows? What's the answer to that question? Who knows? I think somewhere down the line, the conversation, it continues. You have men who mess over women, who then are women like Candace, who create savages, who mess over men, who mess over women, who've been messed over men. I just feel like it's almost a chain reaction. It's like, I've talked to several guys who were once nice, then some girl messed over them. Then I get to them, and then they want to be a savage with me, and then I turn into a savage in the next guy, and then the next guy was so it's almost a chain. Somewhere someone has, I say on the back of the book, they must be stopped. We have to stop. So I think somewhere someone has to go, I'm stopping, I'm healing, and then I'm going to, understand my red flags, understand my boundaries, and just be okay with being like, this is not what I want, and moving forward. Or just hanging out with people and being okay. I do agree with Candace in a little bit in saying that we have to get back to just dating and hanging out and just learning other people and learning ourselves instead of trying to jump into situations and manipulate people, just do all the other stuff. Just get back down to the fundamentals of being just good human beings. And I think we can get to that. Then we can, I don't even get into the politics of the Black and this, the order of thinking. It's just get to being good human beings and the fundamentals of what's being a good person.
Yep. I was going to say, something's going on. I was going to say that too, Kesh, but I was going to say, we've got to stop celebrating this fuckboyism, and it starts with other men holding each other accountable. I am so sick and tired of men holding us accountable for our actions, but they don't hold each other accountable.
This is what they protect Black women
in public. They don't call their homeboys out, and then mothers, especially who are raising boys by themselves, single mothers who are raising boys by yourself. We've got to do a better job at demonstrating how to treat women. So not bringing men in and out of your home, showing your kids a revolving door, having real honest conversations with your sons about how men should treat a woman, maybe having your sons not date the mom, but when you go out to dinner, son, this is how you talk to a woman. This is how you do those kind of things. And just building a strong relationship with your mother, because I know a lot of men who have mistreated me had bad relationships with their moms. And so just kind of changing that whole relationship dynamic.
And can I add to that, Tracey? Not only do they may have bad relationships, that's where the mamas would come in. They had relationships where it was almost toxic with their mom. There were abandonment issues, or their parents weren't there, or they have those issues. So they're so used to their mom being their mom, their girlfriend, and all of that. There's no boundaries. So then I get with a guy that is like, okay, he wants me to cook, and he wants me to do everything as a expectation of being this person, not just that's what I want to do because I want to do it. It almost like take the place of my mom and my sisters for me.
And they equate that with being submissive. And my thing is, I'm like, I don't mind being submissive in a relationship, but what am I being submissive to? I can't be submissive solely because you're a male.
Absolutely.
I want to be submissive to someone who is also submissive to me and in tune.
And to God, we're doing that hierarchy. I think Michelle Obama said we raise our daughters and then we like coddle our boys or whatever it is. So we raised the daughters, and I was raised to be independent and do these things and free thinker and handle business. And then the boys are kind of like, oh, they'll figure it out. Along with adding the double standards on top of that. So it's just like you said, it's a messed up system.
I call that the Willie Lynch syndrome. You know, it dates way, way back, and how our homes were broken up and how the moms protected the boys because they didn't want them to be killed or maimed. But they taught the woman how to do everything independent of man. And so, you know, that's that Willie Lynch, honey. It might have been in 1712, but in 2021, we are still doing it. And not really.
I agree. I think that you definitely, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that it's how we were raised and how, as Black people in America, we've been socialized. The fall, I think that Kesh said it, that you have to really blame the parents. But on the other end of it, you have to be honest and be sympathetic to understand that many of these parents didn't have models themselves. It's been wrong for generations, where all the way back, like you said, Tracey, to slavery, you know, men were ripped from families and homes, and families had to do without. And there was a level of fear involved for your life and, you know, not wanting to be too emotionally attached. There's a lot of factors that have been passed down in the African American, or what I prefer to call the Black community, that we have to think about and we have to unpack as we move forward. But it is time to end it now and really work around it now. And this is going to take a lot of time. And I think someone asked earlier, you know, can this be undone in this lifetime? Not for mine. You know, and I plan to be here for 50 plus more years, people, and I still don't think that we're going to be able to fix it in that time frame. But it's something that we can start now and we can start undoing now. And I agree, men have to hold men accountable. But unfortunately, there are a lot of Black men who don't even understand that there's anything wrong with the systems that they are perpetuating and the harm that they're doing to Black women. But even worse than that, there are a lot of Black men who don't understand it either. A lot of Black women are upholding these structures and who are supporting it. They're getting on social media and they're making videos and they're using those videos to gain clout. Like what, B. Simone? Didn't B. Simone recently have some kind of viral video that went out? I mean, I didn't watch it because I was.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. I heard about it though, but I was like, I heard the first few seconds where she was like, well, you can't expect them. You can't get a man if you don't have what he have. I said, click, I'm going off of this.
Yeah, she was talking about manifesting the person you want based on what you can bring, and also bringing those things to the table.
I said, girl, bye.
So yeah, that was.
And that's a level of blame, right? Like, so what B. Simone did was, you know, constantly blame Black women for their lack of a Black man, which is absolutely, it's ridiculous. And you're constantly sending out, society keeps sending out the message that Black women should settle for whatever it is they can get to have some piece of a man instead of having the ideal man. And that's not the case. They deserve the ideal man. Then society wants to blame them when they choose to date outside of their race, like they've done some horrible harm to the community. It's so many levels involved.
It's so many levels. It's so many levels. And like you said, it's even with racism and everything we deal with in our situation, our society, it's having the conversation and just starting to try to have a conversation. Even when we're dealing with police brutality, it's like there's not going to be it's not going to just stop, but we can try to change one person or 3 people or 100 people. You can just try to change someone's life and educate someone on, you know, these types of topics. I agree with you. I hate to say it, and me and my cousins have this conversation all the time. Our parents, just one generation behind, you know, I love my dad, but my mom said it was like, oh, I got with somebody. Like, you just get with someone. I mean, everyone has problems. No one's perfect. And I refuse to think I can get the house I want, the car I want, write this book, pretty much become vice president of the United States, and I can't get a man that I, truly loves me and I love, I'm attracted to, and makes the money I want him to make and have all the, qualifications. I just don't understand that. But it is taught that we have to settle. Men don't get to settle for us, but we have to settle for what we can get. And that's something we need to change. A thought process we need to change.
I will never tell anyone to settle, but I will also tell people to be realistic. Okay. I know a lot of us want a man who makes $1 million or, high hundreds of thousands of dollars, but y'all, let's be realistic. Those men, and I know I'm probably sounding like, what's that man? We don't need to say his name, but those men typically like younger women that they can throw their money at and tell what to do. And those women will abide as long as he gave me a bag or whatever. I don't care. I'm not that bitch. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow your money to dictate how you treat me or your status be the thing. I want to know how your heart is. Are you kind? Are you emotionally available? Are you tuned into when I am feeling emotional, or when I'm down, or when I need to talk? Are you listening and listening to hear and not to respond? I'm looking for other stuff. Back in the day, I probably was looking for all that craziness, but I think money is great, but I've had money before and lost it. And it for me, I needed people who were solid individuals around me. So yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I just don't like that. I'm hearing a lot of, especially younger girls, get the bag, get in his bag, make sure he makes money, make sure he can provide for you.
You know where that comes from? That comes from that cycle.
It comes from Uncle Zach. Uncle Zachary Kirk did that. Me. I tell my nieces, let me tell you something. Broke boys don't deserve none.
But you say that because you know that. You say that out of a way of protecting them because of some men aren't shit. Again, they're still creating a cycle. So then you create a group of women who are like, okay, well, I'm just going to while I get what I want. And then you create men who are like, okay, well, I'm just give her what she wants and it's okay. You have men who do these things with every woman and it's okay and everyone is going to accept that. So the same thing
one thing that I've noticed that I hate, right? Like, I mean, if you know me, I'm a hard worker. I'm the type of man who believes in providing for a lot of people and a lot of things. I am a provider. I'm going to work as many jobs as I have to ensure the needs of those who I love, family and friends, are going to be met. And I'm a generous person. And here's the thing. I know that my nieces, they're exceptionally strong women. They're going to be successful. I see nothing in them that would indicate they're not going to be successful. They are driven. They are ambitious. They are educated. They're going to be successful. The piece that I know they're going to struggle with is going to be finding a man, and sadly they both love men, that they're going to want to be with, and who's going to be that loving father like man that their father is, because he's a great dad. Mm-hmm. I know the issue. If my nieces weren't like what they were, I may not have that philosophy. I may not have that belief. I'm afraid they're going to go for someone that they're going to have to carry on their back. And I'm not saying you don't have to have a relationship that is sometimes you will carry me and sometimes I will carry you. But what I see a lot of women do who are successful and who are very driven is that they carry and that's all they do. I don't want my nieces to be pack mules.
I think it's also because like they make it seem like we have to have a man. Like look at B. Simone's whole entire platform. What's her saying? Where's my boyfriend? Her whole career has been built around her looking for a boyfriend. I would never take advice from somebody like that. I mean, the level of desperation that you have to be at in order to go and build a career off of wanting to find a man is absolutely ridiculous. If you're going to build a career, build it around something tangible that's going to stay around. And we've seen the people that she done had in and out of her life. I mean, it ain't our business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Her whole career has been built around looking for a man, and society has made us think that we have to have a man to survive. Like they will, and it's good to have male friends. I'm not saying that you don't need any men in your life to survive. You do need male companionship and friends. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're gay, straight, bisexual, heterosexual, whatever. It's good to just have acquaintances. You know what I'm saying? Because human interaction is extremely important, right? But you don't have to have a man to come home to, a man to love you, because when you do that, when you get out here and you're looking for somebody to love you, that's an indication that you're not giving it to yourself. That's so much pressure on a person when you go out here and you looking for somebody to love you. Like, that's a lot of pressure because I don't know you yet.
And
you know what I mean?
I want Zack to understand, even men with money, you still may have to carry them. You might have to carry them emotionally. You may have to carry them in other ways. They might not be, they got the money, but they're not pouring into you. They're tearing you down because they are in financial position. And
I've seen that.
So it's like, I hear what you're saying. You want someone to be a financial provider, but it has to be more than that. If they can't provide financially, they have to offset in another way that still uplifts you.
No, I can agree with that. I can consent to that. I do agree with that.
You're making me nervous. You're making me nervous.
I'm praying for my nieces to manifest for them the best versions of themselves on this earth, so that they can build God's kingdom on this earth, whether that's with a family of their own or not. That is my prayer.
I do think to comment on what Candace was talking about, I think I don't want to get into Miss B. Simone. I don't think there's nothing wrong with having a gimmick and saying you're looking for someone, that's her gimmick, and that's how she made money. And, kudos to her on how she got her money. I don't think it means you're pathetic if you're looking for love or that's what you really want. You want to start a family. I think that you want to do what God put us here to do, is procreate and share your life with someone. I think that's empowering. I think that, either way, whether you want to be alone or not, it's empowering either way. Everyone has their purpose in their walk with life. So who am I to say you should choose one or the other, or one is not right over the other? I think the only thing that is most empowering is that we should not demean a woman's credentials because she does not have a man. That's the only thing I'm against. So, you got a house, but you ain't got no man to come home to. That's not fair that I bought a house and, you got no man. I've had, people say that to me all the time. Or, you got these degrees, but you got a man. That's not fair to base my success on.
This toxic.
That is so mean and nasty. And whoever said that to you needs to be cut off. I hope you're not associating with them, because that's nasty.
So yeah, I feel like my ultimate success shouldn't be marriage. I don't agree with that. That is a great success. That is a goal that I would like to have. That doesn't mean that I can't write a book and help people, other people
Correct.
Book and do this.
My sister is here. My sister is here, the mother of those nieces. So she clearly wanted to be known that she is here, and she hears me talking about these boyfriends that she loves so much, because I know you love them. I know you care. So let me know, what do you think about this? Do you want your daughters to marry men who are unable to provide for them financially, even if they can provide for them emotionally? I mean, I do. I want to know your opinion on this, because I don't think, I try not to talk about your son-in-laws to your face.
See, when I was coming out of my mama's womb, my grandma was like, "Oh, hey, baby, you so beautiful. Don't let her be broke." Mwah. I'm talking about every day. My grandma, she drilled it in me. Like, it was not.
And the thing is, it comes across, because I think my first encounter with you, when I said, the book was like, I've never experienced it. It was like, no, I only deal with rich guys. I don't experience
because I feel like, yeah, and it's not saying I only deal with rich guys. It's saying I only deal with guys who do like to provide, like what Zack said. Because I feel like if you're going to go through the ringer with somebody, because you're going to go through it with somebody, they might as well be a provider. You know what I'm saying? So, because you're going to go through it with somebody, but that's not what it's all about. It's about you having genuine love for that person. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, oh, let me see if I can get a purse. That's minuscule shit.
I think when Nick said you want to cry in a Wraith or the Honda, I don't want to cry at all. I don't want to cry neither. Don't make me cry.
Yeah.
And that's the point. And yeah, Tracey, and then we'll go to DeAndre's question.
Oh yeah. That was gonna be my point. I am a woman of a certain age. And I have no kids, and my parents, I often ask them, hey, did you all ever want to be grandparents? You know, how do you feel that I'm not married? And my mom and dad both say, Tracey, we want you to be happy before we want any of those things. So if you bring a husband into the world and you're unhappy, or if you bring children into this world and you're miserable, that is not legacy. That is not what we want to pass down. And so I carry that with me because I've been in an physically abusive relationship and mentally abusive relationship. I just think on those things. I don't want to carry that on to my kids, or you know, I don't want to show other girls that, well, I got me somebody, you get you somebody, and you stay with them 50, 60 years. Like my grandmother stayed with my grandfather, and I loved them, but I never saw them smile, laugh. They didn't go out. I just was like, if this is marriage, I don't want it. But on the flip side, I saw my mom's parents who did everything together, and my grandfather did everything, you know, for my grandmother, and she in return did things. So I want that. I don't want the other. I do not, you know, just because I'm a certain age and I need to get married now. My grandmother would say that. Don't you want somebody? Yeah, at a certain age, aren't you? And I'm like, no, not if I'm going to be crying or alone in my relationship. I've been alone in relationships before and stuck around because I ain't want to be single no more.
I mean, this is a deep conversation with some great points being brought up, you know, phenomenal. And we're approaching the 15-minute mark to, you know, go into that up, down, clown and conclude it. I want to say, I agree with you, DeAndre. This isn't what I'm saying about, you know, they're broke now because they're bidding for a better life. They're broke. I'm not talking about anybody specifically.
I think you're talking about like a broke guy that's probably like standing on the corner, pants hanging down.
Not we're talking about someone who's your mother and possibly even your father, but more than likely your mother, grandmother. These women have done for you, taken care of you, as Michelle Obama said, coddled you. And it's your expectation that this is what women need to do for you. Right? Women take care of me. My mom, you know, I don't have to iron my clothes because my mama gonna iron my clothes because she don't want me to walk out the house in a certain kind of way instead of making me sit my butt down and iron my own clothes. I don't have to get up at a certain time and do chores in the house before I go to school. If I don't want to go to school, I don't even have to go to school. See, my mama's not making me turn on the computer for my Zoom class because that's not what I have to do. And when I need $20 to go and get some marijuana, my mama gonna give me that $20, and then my mama's gonna let me smoke in the house or in the backyard because she don't want me to get arrested because she's so scared for me. That's what I'm talking about. That's what some of these people have. Some have lived with. You know that these things exist, and that's why they are the way they are, and that's what their focus is using themselves to be carried.
Okay.
That's what I do not want my nieces to experience. I'm fine with them having someone who's on a hustle and is on a grind, who they can help build up if and only if once they get built, they're going to stay committed to them. Because I don't want to see them invest their energy and time in somebody who they're going to build up and that somebody's going to build up and then leave them later. I don't want any of that for my nieces. Not for mine.
But Zach, we've got to also note there are some women who find joy, absolute joy in being homemakers and domesticated and looking after. They feel like, you know, it brings me joy to do it. It brings me joy to cook, clean, and, you know, don't touch, because I like stuff a certain way. Get out of my kitchen. Oh, I got you. Here's your plate. I like doing those things. That is not a chore for me. So I don't want somebody looking at me, look at her. She's henpecked. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not. Not henpecked. What is it called? That's for a man. But you know, she's doing everything. I like doing it. What if I like it?
Then I think you can do it, but the balance is, I think that, I think there's a balance like that. Acts of service, it may be your love language. It's about finding someone else who speaks how you receive love, right? Like, I don't really like gifts. They make me feel very uncomfortable. I don't want people, I don't give me a gift. They make me feel uncomfortable, but I love to give gifts. I love giving gifts. I don't receive love by getting gifts. I show love by giving gifts, but I receive love by acts of service because I'm so busy. Clean my car, surprise me with iron them clothes that I hate to iron because I had to iron so much.
Yeah, I'm like that too, Zach. I love to give gifts to people. Like, I love doing that. You know what I'm saying? I like giving to people, showing people love like that. When I receive gifts, I have a difficult time with it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't know what my love language is. I guess it's people being there for me. You know what I mean? I like that. I like dependable.
I'm going to send you the link. There's a little quick test that might help you identify it. And again, DeAndre, there are a number of men who didn't grow up this way. And there's a number of women who were not, I don't want to say overly worked or made to be the household slaves while their brother took naps. But, there's a balance. I know, but I do believe it's an impulse that we have to watch in our Black families.
I think what DeAndre is trying to get around to saying is he's basically going to say there's fuck girls. Because I've had a lot of people guys be like, well, when are you going to write a fuck girl story? And I'm like, oh, well, hey, you're going to have to write it and I'll help you with it. But there's no way. Because
I don't believe it exists. I argue, Brandi, there's no such thing. Let me say this. That's just like, I want you to send those men my way so I can break it down for them real clear and plain. Yeah. Here's the thing. When white people say there's reverse racism, it doesn't exist because we as Black people can't sit in the seat of power to oppress you. And so when Black men say, well, what about the fuck girl? Guess what? There's no such thing. I celebrate every girl who fucks because they deserve to be empowered and to take back what society has tried to take from them and oppress them. The oppression of Black women is so ingrained in American society that it's heartbreaking. I don't understand how any Black woman in America can succeed with the pressures that they face from everyone around them. They go out in the same world that I go out into as a Black man, and they face the same racism that I face as a Black man, but then they have to come home and deal with what you just talked about in these comments and in this conversation of their spouse being abusive, even if it's not physical, it's low-key patriarchal and emotionally abusive. They have to deal with their family members, their own mothers and grandmothers and friends, asking them, well, why aren't you married? Or, you're not really successful because you don't have kids, you don't have this, you don't have this idea that white people put in our heads that we should have. I don't understand how anyone can overcome that. It's heartbreaking.
Exactly. And the same thing.
You're saying that I definitely will be changing. I definitely may have said, oh yeah, there's some fuck girls. I may have done some fuck girl stuff. And I definitely was just educated on how.
This is your response. If someone says, what about the fuck girls? You say, what about your mama?
And the reason why they do that is another patriarchal thing, which puts you at odds with another woman, which will make you look good to this man and say, oh, I'm not a fuck girl. I'm a good girl.
Be Simone.
Please.
Correct.
Absolutely correct.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, I'm not going for none of that bitch, hoe, slut, trick, fuck girl. That woman can do whatever she wants as far as I'm concerned. Period. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to put me against no other woman. You know what I'm saying? If she got some beef, then I feel sorry for her and I'm going to pray for her awakening. You know what I'm saying? But
Candace Owens. Only Black woman I can support in 2021, Candace Owens. Oh, and Wendy Williams. We gotta, approaching the up, the down, the clown. Ladies, it's been a week, right? And we haven't had a lot of good news. I don't know if you're getting ready to watch Coming to America this weekend. I'm looking forward to it in the whole quarantine era. It's something to unite us as a people, to dig into and enjoy. But you know what else I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to going down to Lithonia, Georgia, And in Lithonia, Georgia, they are going to they're striving to recreate Black Wall Street. Have you guys heard about this just yet?
Yes, I heard about this. I'm excited, but I am nervous because once folk hear about it, I don't want them to come and infiltrate. But I'm very excited about what they're planning on doing in Lithonia.
They gotta be told to infiltrate Lithonia.
Panola Road.
Are we gonna drive to Lithonia?
I get my hair done in Lithonia.
I'm always over there. I'm always over that way.
Yeah.
I get my hair done over in Stone Mountain.
Yeah, I get my hair done off Panola Road by the This Is It.
Okay, I'm right over by Retan.
That's a long way for you, Tracey, and for both of y'all drive a long way for some This Is It.
Well, I go for the hairstyle, but then
I go for my hair. I go every 2 weeks. Sometimes I go every week because I got family over that way. So you can catch me over there almost every weekend, really.
So I would make that drive once a week to support good customer service amongst my Black business owners.
And to be fair, the This Is It off of Panola Road is good. I cannot tell a lie. I have had bad This Is It, but over there it has been some good This Is It. And so, well, you're saying that you think there's going to lead to some gentrification because you're going to build, and she makes a good point, right? So let me give some insight. So number one, I don't know if you guys have noticed how home prices in Atlanta are at a ridiculous point.
Crazy.
A friend of mine just today, my friend Stacy was asking me about a townhome off Candler Road behind JJ Fish. The townhome off Candler Road behind JJ Fish is $190,000.
Oh, how many bedrooms? 3 bedrooms?
It's a beautiful brand new home, but no, we can't do that because this is a bubble that I believe will burst eventually, and that's very high.
Look, Candler Road is about to change. My brother lives off of Candler Road. Well, Don Juan and McAfee. Okay.
I know what that is.
And his entire neighborhood is now half Black and half white.
No, because that actually is a street that's like a couple streets behind my house. And last night, I was driving home and, I saw several white people running the streets. And I wanted to say, this ain't it, y'all. Go home. Like, y'all don't do this here. I know you think you can, but I don't think you're safe. I hate to tell you that, but I don't think it's safe over here now. Not here.
But in my experience, when white people move into our neighborhoods, they're safer than we are.
Sad but true.
I lived on 43rd and King in Chicago.
But this right here is the fact. The home it's gonna burst.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a home right now, just sit tight, be patient. It's gonna burst because of this right here. The job economy and people are increasing in the unemployment rate. Just this week, we announced how unemployment was soaring. It won't support this housing market. It's just not going. It's not going to. The job economy isn't going to support it. So, but again, with that being said, gentrification will come to Lithonia as if you get more business in the industry that are successful, people are going to want to live in the area. And as I'm seeing more and more people price out all the way down here on Candler Road, it's only going to roll over to Wesley Chapel. It's going to roll over to Panola. And next thing you know, it's going to be right there in Lithonia with Turner Hill. It's just a matter of time.
No, I think Black people who have money are going to move into those areas as well. I think they're going to keep that area because, first of all,
I hope so.
It's not the city. It's not as close as Candler Road is to downtown Decatur and downtown Atlanta. So Lithonians, they want to come back into the city, and so I think making Lithonia the location for the new Black Wall Street is actually smart.
You think it's a good idea?
Yep.
Brandi, are you gonna go? Are you gonna drive out there to?
I need to educate myself on it, but I have no problem with driving out there and seeing what it's about. Yeah, I definitely go.
What side of town are you on?
I'm currently living on South Fulton. I just bought a house over here. So I bought a house last year.
You very far from Lithonia. You're very far.
Well,
Congratulations, Brandi.
Thank you. I've been in Atlanta about 5 years. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. So I've been in Kennesaw, I've been in Marietta, I've been downtown. So I've pretty much been everywhere. So driving to Lithonia everywhere. I was living in Kennesaw. Y'all know how far that is. So
I think what part of South Fulton? Because I'm in South Fulton too.
You said what?
I'm in South Fulton too.
I'm near Dead Road, Stonewall Tail.
Oh yeah. I'm out Butner.
Okay. They're building over here too, and I think the townhome I purchased is about $50,000 more in 1 year. So I got in around this time last year, and this year they're still building. They're like $50,000-$60,000 more.
I purchased in September, and the only house on my row is $60,000 more. I'm like, what?
I'm like, if I had waited any more time, I would have not been able to afford. And you're absolutely correct. I'm an educator, so it was the issue last year with I didn't get any of those. First time home buyer, educator, all of that was those grants. Everything was gone because of COVID. I didn't get any of that. So it was
a lot of good money out there too.
I can see where he says the job economy. They're not supporting. It's just not supporting getting the house. No longer can you have a job, have a couple degrees, and it's just very disheartening to go, so I can't afford a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. Like, wow. Okay.
When we go from the up, I think Black Wall Street in Lithonia is an up. We also go now to the down, and it's the battle that's happening right now, right now in the United States Senate, around President Biden's COVID-19 relief package and the large amount of misinformation that's being pumped out among Black people about the COVID-19 relief package. There's so much misinformation where people are blaming and mad at Joe Biden because they haven't gotten a stimulus.
Sean King.
Yeah, people are blaming Joe Biden because they don't have a stimulus. People are blaming Joe Biden for so many things when they clearly don't want to understand how government works. Right now, by the slimmest of margins. So the House passed the bill for COVID-19 relief to the Senate. The Senate today had every single Republican senator vote no on COVID-19 relief. Every single one of them voted no. Not one single Republican voted yes, although Republicans support this as well as Democrats. 40% of Republicans are in favor of this bill being passed, where it's like 90% of Democrats. In addition to having no Republicans vote yes for it, the senator from Wisconsin, I think it's Senator Johnson, he is mandating that all 693 pages of this bill be read aloud to the members of Congress to slow down the process. And they have to sit there and listen to all 693 pages to be read aloud to them. Then they have a plan to where they're going to go through every single amendment in the bill to attack and try to tear down the bill to block this from getting passed when the Republicans know that unemployment benefits will end this month. Yet, Black people like Sean King want to attack Joe Biden. Like we don't have bigger fish to fry.
I replied to him today when he talked about the stimulus bill. I said, it's clear somebody missed this section of social studies. You remember we used to call it social studies. It wasn't civics, it was social studies.
They still call it social studies at elementary school.
Okay. So, that is the problem. And he's got 1 million followers, and so many people believe every little thing he says. They don't think, oh, I'm following this guy. Let me research this as well. I can follow you all day, Dr. Zack, but it's something I'm like, let me do a little research.
That's a good quality to have.
Well, even in that, you can follow someone, and I've learned that you got to have triangulation. What is it? triangulation, where you have to have 3 sources. You need to have 3 sources.
You have to triangulate your facts.
Yeah. 3 different sources that are saying the same exact thing for it to be true, for you to be like, okay, this is a fact. Yep.
How are we going to get past this? I don't know, maybe not get past this. What are we to do? Because I'm honestly, I feel helpless. I'm like, oh, they done passed the voting bill or passing all these bills for voter suppression and all of that. And I'm like, oh, I have no say. I have nothing to do with it. Now I got to strategize and say, okay, this part of town, they've taken away X amount of absentee boxes and opportunities for you. This part of town, y'all gonna have to bust in. Like, what do we do?
So what we have to do is this. This is definitely what we have to do is that, one, we have to mobilize. So when I start my Facebook group and I start my IG page called Progressive Georgia, follow it, support it, be a part of it. That's a piece of it, right? So every little group needs to have somebody that's gonna bring them together and keep it moving. And you have like a super group, a super little chat, and everybody goes out and just does simple things through social media. I realize that people don't have time to do the social media work that it takes to get information out there. But when you see something good, repost it. When you got information, reshare it. Like, you don't have to put it on your main feed to make your Instagram political, but you have to do your part with sharing it to your friends, your community, to educate people. And then when you see young advocates out there, we got to take them in and we have to educate them. We have to encourage them so they'll do that work, because they're way more savvy with social media than what we may be. But we have to be educated, and we have to educate. The voter suppression problem in Georgia is huge. I knew it was going to be huge. Many people said it was going to be a big consequence to the work done. I do not believe it's going to come to pass. However, even if Georgia and other states put these bills into law, we now have the United States House of Representatives pass the voting rights legislation that can supersede what the states have done. The problem is, will the Senate approve the legislation? That's the problem. Black people want to think that we have a democratically controlled Senate, and we don't. We have 48 Democrats in the Senate, and we have 2 independents, Bernie Sanders and Angus King. Those 2 independents typically vote Democrat, but you have Sinema of Arizona and you have Manchin of West Virginia, and they are not likely to stick with the Democrats on many issues. Then people say, kick them out of the party. Well, if we kick them out of the party, they become Republicans, and we still wouldn't have a majority. We can't. So right now, Joe Manchin is the most important person in American politics. He just is, followed by Lisa Murkowski, because she's a Republican who could swing over as well. So we have to keep both of them happy as Democratic leaders and keep them on track. And so Joe Manchin refused to support Nedra Tandem, Joe Biden's pick to run the budget. She got pulled out because he said he wasn't going to vote for her. If Joe Manchin says he's not going to vote for COVID relief, you won't have COVID relief. So Biden's job is to make him happy. And if that means you got to compromise on bills to make him happy, you have to. And here's the thing. If Joe Manchin became a Republican in West Virginia, nobody would care, because guess how many Democrats are elected by West Virginia? 1, and that's him. West Virginia voted for Donald Trump by 70%. 70% of that state went for Donald Trump. 70%. So we have work to do. We have more people to put into office, but we got to be educated. So when you hear people when you hear Black people slamming Joe Biden, research to see if they're valid and if they're right. Brandi, we had last week Black educators attacking Joe Biden for standardized testing. We had misleading headlines talking about standardized testing. I got pissed off as well, but then I did my research, and because I was like, Miguel Cardona is not confirmed yet. He didn't get confirmed until Monday and didn't start the job until Tuesday or Wednesday. The decision made for you and I to be responsible for standardized tests came from a guy whose last name was Rosenfeld, Rosenfeld was named Secretary of Education by Donald Trump. He's the acting Secretary of Education who took the position after Betsy DeVos stepped down. He worked under her he was the assistant to Betsy DeVos. When DeVos left, he became the acting secretary. He made these decisions that started under the Trump administration, probably to sabotage and piss off educators under Biden. Yet we jumped in and ran with it. And once that gets out there, you can't undo it. One last point of fact is people are also mad at Joe Biden about children in cages. People didn't sit down and do research about why are there children in cages under Biden? Because parents sent these poor children to the border unattended. They wanted them to be free from what they face in their country so desperately. They sent teenagers and children all the way from Central America up through Mexico to the border. Now Joe Biden has to decide, what am I going to do with these kids? Am I going to send these kids back and have them face all that journey again? Or am I going to keep them and try to unite them with someone? Like, what do you do? What he said he's going to do is he's going to try to reunite them with their families. And if the families want to come over, he's going to try to create a path for them to come over. And that has gone over like a lead balloon. People are pissed as hell about that.
The issue that when people thought President Biden got in office, immediately he was going to be able to do things. Is that the issue? Is like, okay, he was inaugurated, and then it's like, all right, fix everything.
Well, look, I was reading. I can't read and think the same thing.
The issue is that as soon as he got in office, they assumed that he was going to be able to fix everything immediately. It's like, all right, everything changed. COVID is gone. I got my $1,400 by Monday. Everything is fine. And now they're probably, already, well, in 4 years, I'm not going to vote for him because he wasn't able to do this within 6 weeks.
Yeah, they're saying I'm never going to vote again.
It's like, how do you put that pressure on someone to undo 4 years in 2 months? That's a lot.
In 4 days.
In 4 days.
We live in this Instagram society, this instant, I want instant
food. I got everything at my fingertips.
Yeah. And what they don't realize is you also have education at your fingertips and you're not educating yourself on how the process works. So we're quick to say things, but we're not quick to research either. It's like, y'all are some idiots to me. Candy,
what do you think? What are you thinking over there?
Listen, I work and everything, and I'm pretty sure all of us do. So I can't really say very much about the stimulus because I do have a paycheck coming in, so I'm not fully dependent upon that assistance coming. So, when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, it doesn't really impact me very much. But, I'm pretty sure that the people who it does impact, they would like to see some of their money come in. But I believe there's other assistance that they're getting as well, like maybe food stamps and, hopefully some sort of unemployment assistance.
Yeah, by no means is that enough, right? But here's the thing. The COVID-19 relief bill that Joe Biden is passing actually increases food stamp assistance by 15% per person or family who's eligible. That's a huge benefit. It also increases unemployment from 300 a week to 400 a week. That's a huge improvement. These things are really going to have an impact and make a difference if they can get passed. But you can't blame Joe Biden for it not being passed when the Republicans are sitting here, one, voting against it, and then requiring the bill to be read all 600 and something pages before it can move on. We go from the up Brandi to the down Brandi, then we talk about the clown Brandi. And this week's clown, you know what? It's tempting, y'all. It's tempting, y'all, to give the clown to Governor Abbott of Texas. Or it's tempting, y'all, to give the clown to Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi, because this week, both those governors threw out their mask mandates. And all over social media, people wanted to make fun of and talk about this. I saw people who live right here in Atlanta on Twitter talking about how dumb they are in Texas and how dumb they are in Mississippi. Y'all, I have a big announcement, a big surprise for the world here. Georgia was Texas before Texas was Texas. At least
Texas copied off of us.
Correct. at least in the state of Texas, they had a mask mandate at some point. If you live in Georgia, you never had a governor who gave you a state mask mandate. We never mask mandated anything in this state. We have had COVID-19 go unchecked. We have had people choose to come to Georgia to vacation and spread COVID-19 at a rapid rate. We are going to host the All-Star game this weekend, and we have people, black, white, everything in between, ready to get out there and shake that tail for COVID-19.
Yeah,
No,
well,
Did you also see that he made a comment about Biden sending people to Texas to increase COVID, but then you literally in the same breath got rid of the mask mandate at the same time? Like, what's the contradiction?
my fear about this is, y'all, is that we are going to start being so laxed that we forget that COVID is a thing, and it's just going to run so rampant. It's gonna
get worse. It's gonna go back worse, and we're gonna go back. My circle of friends, because I have friends that have parents with health issues. We've been actually I've still been quarantined. I have not been to a bar. Darius's event was probably the most interaction I've had with a group of people in a small space.
And you had on your mask.
I had my mask on with the lipstick thing the whole time. Had hand sanitizer. So I actually have not been to a bar, smoke hookah in the bar. I'm missing Boogaloo Jesus. And I haven't been since last year, probably since this week of last year. So I did hang out with some friends in the beginning and took it, did a couple of house parties and didn't take it seriously. And then it was just like, yeah, I got to stay at the house. So I've already planned not to even go downtown, not even drive that way, 75 North at all.
Did people get COVID from the house party that you went to?
Not that I know of. And this was like March, April of last year, a little bit of May, where I was kind of like, oh, okay, I still got to have some fun. Not that I know of, or no one got tested or no one came down with it. Thank God no one in my circle did. My mom is a respiratory therapist. She actually got it from work. So that kind of was like, oh, okay. And she's very, careful. She works with patients. So when she got it, was like, oh, okay, maybe, it kind of it does hit home.
For me, it's my job. I don't have the same job security as a lot of people have. If I were to get COVID and have to stay home for 2 weeks, I legit may potentially lose my job. And I know it's against the law for them to fire you, right? But because of the industry that I'm in, it's millions of dollars. When one person has to quarantine, everybody that I had communication with, I shared a trailer with, they have to quarantine too. And then whoever they had contact with has to quarantine. It is insane. So I know when people see me, I have on 3 masks and my shield, because I'm like, look, I can't afford without this vaccine to kind of be laxed. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, like I've been hearing that actors are getting fired from the job from posting being in house parties, because people will see that and be like,
oh, then you're exposing me. You're exposing me.
Putting us in danger. This is irresponsible behavior. You've signed contracts, that state that you will do X, Y, and Z.
You're literally jeopardizing other people's lives, because just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean it's going to affect the other person. Won't have symptoms or won't have respiratory issues afterwards. So you really it's negligence,
That's right. That's right. So, guys, that does kind of conclude. We have hit the issues. Up, down, the clown. Is there any special products that anyone would like to share? We definitely, if there's something special that you have that you want to, a restaurant you ate at, something we want to share with everybody, like try this out.
So I'm going to go first and try my book out. So you can purchase Fuckboy Fables on Amazon. You can also follow me at FCK_boy magnet. I'm a Fuckboy magnet. And I can send you a signed copy, but this is available on Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. I also have a journal called the Fuckboy Cleanse Journal, and it's just a way you can write your thoughts, maybe write your own stories and your own fuckboy experiences. So you can purchase those both on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
But we also have a game, right?
Well, I don't sell the game anymore, but I do have a game that I play, and I've done like fuckboy cleanses. There's invited me one time to a house party just to, do the whole game with everyone. So,
Okay, so wait a minute. Why can't we buy the
Can we
game?
see a card? Can we see a card? Like, how do you play it?
I did the game back in like 2018. I just stopped selling them, so I have to bring them back up. But
Bring them back. So give us a little taste of the game real quick.
So the game, it's charade. So it's basically I can act in my things I will act out and say and get you guys to guess what's on the card. So we'll go. So all right. So this is a person that is a fuckboy. It's a character on a movie, and Taraji P. Henson was in the movie, and the guy had two babies. Jody is the fuckboy. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, go ahead and take my black card right now. You can I don't know the answers. I didn't watch a lot of these movies.
This is a phrase that fuckboys say when they don't want to commit. They use this phrase, and when they don't want to be in a relationship, they say they have these types of things wrong with them.
Insecurities.
Close. Keep going. They don't. I'm with someone and I want to know where you at and what you're doing, and I can't do that because you might not.
They have control issues.
It's a type of issues, not control, not insecurity.
Trust issues.
Trust issues. They have trust issues.
Nah, man. I got trust issues, bro.
Yep. All right.
So you basically saying you don't trust me. Okay.
These type of fuck boys, they drive this type of car.
A Malibu, a Caprice, a Dodge Charger.
Dodge Charger.
Is it the Hellcat or the regular one?
All right, last one. Fuck boys say this: you post a good picture, you looking good on Instagram, and they ain't talked to you in a while, and they send this text.
Hey, big head.
And not hey big head, it's another one.
What you doing?
Hey, Shotty.
You don't know this person no more. Their age. You just met this person. Their age.
Oh, where you been?
Hey, stranger.
A stranger.
Oh.
Yep, a stranger.
I like this.
I have a bunch of
I
cards.
definitely send some hey. I definitely post hey stranger stuff all the time. So it's a good thing that I am nailed down. So with that being said, guys, we gotta do this again. We definitely have to do it again. We got to make the whole, we got to do a whole game show, Brandi. This is great.
Yes. It was so much fun. Oh, and Brandi, how is your dog doing?
Oh, my dog is doing good. He's better.
Okay. What was wrong with him? I was nervous because she was posting on her story about it. I'm like, because it's not normal for a dog to, be sick like that in the crate.
Issues, and he's teething. He's 5 months. So I realized it was just teething issues.
Oh.
So he's
Okay.
better.
Well, Brandi, I gotta get the book.
Yes.
Gotta get the book.
Yes. Please purchase on Amazon and tag me on my Instagram that you got.
And I want the game, so you got to get some more games if you're done.
I will get on
limited release.
Limited edition.
And let us know so we can get them.
Okay, I will. I definitely will.
All right, ladies. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been a great time.
having me.
We must win a live cast. We'll see you back next week.
Bye. Stay safe, everybody.